but I mean, that's what I've tried. Will.
Hey, it's 9 o'clock, the Sanford call meeting to order, Sanford flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looking for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion, can we get a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any of the agenda, any additions or? Okay. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. For the board meeting minutes from, December 16th and, December 29th. Special meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion and second, any discussion on any of the minutes? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Warrants were sent out.
I will make the motion to pay the bills.
Okay, we have a motion, we get a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion and second, to pay the bills. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have discussion. We have dues discussed later and this is approving those. I'm not gonna object to it, but I'm gonna state for the record that I do have concerns with AMC and the direction. It's not anything right now at this moment that we have a lot of staff on user groups through AMC, but they're last minute amendments and I've got concerns. Then my other question was, are we approving, there was concern about the travel reimbursement. Is that included in this? We're approving paying those that we're not following our public. There's a bigger discussion here, I think. So the PAC committee members that they're getting paid, but Doyle, how are we gonna make sure we're not doing the usual thing again?
I just filled I just didn't fill them all.
Okay. So then the PAC, we're gonna pay them obviously, but are we gonna say they have to follow and turn in their travel expenses monthly, or is that an annual thing for them good enough? I don't have a preference either way, but let's just all be on the same page. Well, you know, it's easier to do it every month, isn't it? I don't know, and I don't know that they knew there was a policy that said they needed to do it every month, so they
It
probably.
usually was tallied at the end of the year.
Right.
Or that's usually what's happened over the years, you know, so. But to your question, as far as AMC and where things are at, now you're talking about through the Health and Human Services and the state to state language in general government, or
That's one of them, there's more to
Well,
it that.
that was vetted out in that process, and Stacy was fine with the language that was in it. Our health, you know, Stacy Hennon, our Health and Human Services Director. Cause I chatted with her a little bit after we were all said and done. And she was fine with it, she said. So. We can't. Do our jobs down there without Association of Minnesota Counties. Those lobbyists are working hard for us, and of course, they have to. Perform on a state level with all counties involved and reflections and things like that, so, you know. I think dollar for dollar, pound for pound, AMC has done a knockout job for us over the years. So, I really don't have any reservations. On, you know, I'm not a big fan of seeing these costs go up, but as we're going and using them. You know, you can cut back on, like, and that's what I've done, is cut back on your time there. You know, instead of registering for the whole weekend and stay in the whole 9 years, you know, you can get your work done and only stay a couple days. Versus the 3, like the annual conference and things like that, so I've been trying on my behalf, cutting mine. Just because of the activity fees that are getting raised. Right, but there's critical things that they do. And one of them is this AMC Drainage Conference, that's a big one, and then our legislative conference. In February, that's a big one. But like the annual conference, you know, I had mixed emotions about going, and then I was a voting member for general government, and like I said, we brought everything that you're talking about up in front of, you know, everybody in the room. And there was a few of us that spoke, and we're headed, and the language got changed. So it isn't a state by state, it's a state by county, you know, with county supervision. And I don't have the language in front of me to state all that, but I did reach out to her, like I said, our Health and Human Services Director, and she said, I'm fine with it. Completely fine with it. So that's all I got to say.
So I got a question, Mr. Chair, back to this discussion, the tips, travel and meal reimbursement policy, is that gonna be addressed later, or are we in that along with something else right now? Is it?
Right, my question was, I'm assuming just a motion to approve the warrant, so I'm assuming we're paying the ones that were questioned.
Yeah.
And I don't know either, when are we addressing that?
Cause I have something I'd like to address as far as the policy relating to that, now whether that's should be done now or later, I don't know if it's on the agenda, so what do you think, Mr. Chair?
Well, it was in the stuff that was sent out.
So should I talk about it then?
Sure.
So it says under the travel and meal reimbursement that no expenses, tips and their expenses are not reimbursed. The exception, tips calculated by the establishment and automatically added in as part of the billing will be reimbursed subject to the daily law amount, which may also include credit card slips showing the actual tip charged to employee. I guess I wonder why Grant County would not tip a server for their services unless they add it to the bill. I think that's the alcohol fine, it shouldn't be, but we should be able to tip a server like we normally do, as long as it's within the guidelines of the daily limit, just like it says on the ad. It's no use to, it makes no sense, I think, in this day and age, people that work in the service industry. But I don't know if now is the time, while we're addressing warrants, if we wanna bring that up under something else or add.
Well, they'll be coming down to our packet, but along with other stuff on there,
Okay, so it is part of this bottom part?
No, it's not on the agenda.
but it's on our,
You were sent out with the
Yeah.
warrants, the information, the
Board.
policy, and the vouchers from those that were outside of the policy limitations. And I don't know when this policy was written, there's not a date on it, it was before my time. So if there is revisions that need to be done to the policy, I think that's something we can work on and then bring back for the board to approve. At a later meeting, if that's what the board would like.
I think we put it on the agenda for the next meeting to see what the board wants, and then we go back and redo.
That's fine.
anything else? We have a motion and a second to approve the warrants. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now for the organization of the board. Need a motion to nominate the 2026 chair. And I'll nominate Dwight Volodny.
I'll second.
Motion second. Or first of all, any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Dwight for chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. And now, well, you can take over.
You don't mind, do you? We'll get Billy over here then.
Well, we can do that next meeting, right?
Okay. All right, so now we have to nominate a vice chair. So do we have a motion to nominate a vice chair?
Well, if we don't have, you just have to show up for every meeting.
Right. Okay, I'll nominate Bill LaValle for vice chair. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
That was you, Troy.
Yep. We have a motion and a second for Bill LaValle as vice chair. Is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of Bill LaValle to be the vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Bill. Okay, so. We're gonna move on here then. I do wanna say one thing that when at times I'm gonna call for a roll call vote. And I'm gonna have the clerk or coordinator do that throughout the year. That's how I've seen it done many times in other committees that I'm on, and it seems to work out good. So, anyway, let's see here, next up would be, human resources.
I'm here this morning just looking for some direction as to how to proceed with filling the vacant sheriff position in February.
Okay. Just gonna have discussion on that. Okay, well, I'm, you know, I've been around a long time and, I think, my personal feeling is on how we move forward with this is that we take the sheriff's recommendation as to who should be appointed the sheriff. You know, the sheriff, he got a lot of responsibility and it's a big job. And you know, I just feel that, you know, it's so important, whoever gets in there knows what's going on. And you know, I just think that we need to go that route. I checked with some other counties, two other counties that recently appointed sheriffs, and they went with the sheriff's recommendation as far as who to put in there until election time. And when it's election time, then everybody has a right to file and run for sheriff. And so that's my thoughts on it. Is there any other thoughts? Every position we've had that's come open, we've opened it up at least internally. And I would like to stay consistent in that and have it opened up at least internally. Any other thoughts? Has every, and I don't know this, but has every position been opened up internally? Since I've been here, the only one that we did not open up was when the treasurer moved out of the county and went from elected to appointed. Otherwise, since I've been here, yes.
I'm not sure that's accurate if we had looked at the historical happenings on the board, but I do have something to add. I think probably the number one importance is how the department continues. And that's kind of what you were saying, Dwight, and yet I understand what Troy was saying. If the intent is to open it up, that we're fearful of how it might impact the election, I think we're thinking wrong. Because you gotta respect the election process. And it should weigh out in which case that will happen in November. And so, if generally the next in line, which is to be the chief deputy, is not chosen, we may be by default impacting the election. Unintended in a sense. And I have a little concern about that.
I got a little tidbit I'd like to say, you know, this is so short term. That, you know, if you're talking, you know, like a full term or, you know, a 3-year term or something like that, say that something happened with the sheriff and, you know, you wanted somebody for a 3-year appointment. That'd be a whole different discussion than right now. This is a short-term appointment. And with elections coming up and things like that, to keep the, you know, you wanna call it the, you know, transitioning and everything like that and, you know, keeping it whole and keeping that department, you know, instead of rearranging the furniture up there. I think being it short term, it needs to be succession, meaning the chief deputy moves up.
Doyle, do you have anything?
I guess I wouldn't have trouble either way if we open it up or had the next in line, you know, take the position. It'll get sorted out one way or the other.
Anybody else have anything else? I just want to reiterate that everybody's entitled to run for sheriff in the county. So when that time comes, they can put their name on the ballot. And, but for now, I think that we just need to keep things running smoothly here and wish the sheriff Combs there a good retirement. So. So what do we need here? Do we,
Mr. Chair, if I can chat real quick here,
okay,
you know, agreed, anybody can run for sheriff, you know, but the duties and responsibilities still gotta be intact moving forward. And there can't be. And I have to believe that the chief deputies sat in the sheriff's roles when he's been on vacation and things like that, so. Again, I'll say it again, short term, we should just do the succession and move forward. Like what we did with the treasurer, we didn't even bat an eye, we just moved her in, being she moved out of the county, we appointed her for that short term. You know, till the elections come about. So. I guess you guys know where I'm at.
One more thing, Mr. Chair, it's interesting because I don't know how long you've been chief deputy, Jen, but whenever you're in a position that potentially can evolve into the next, you kind of have a interview as long as you're in the position. Likewise, if you got appointed to the interim sheriff, you will also be exposed to an interview between now and November. And that necessarily isn't a huge benefit sometimes. It can be a negative. And so we've been able to scrutinize Jen in this case at a level that no one else has. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I think it's okay to mention that whenever you're in a spot that you're subjected to the lens of us.
I think that's a good point, and whoever gets appointed sheriff here is gonna get it every day, they're gonna be exposed. Every day.
Yep.
They're gonna be,
well, my statement should not be read anything on Jan.
No.
It's the policy of, the procedure of, we're gonna open it up.
So I got a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
You referenced a policy and a procedure. Do we have a policy and a procedure that we're not following?
We do not have a written,
Okay.
but in starting the 10th year that I've been here, other than the treasurer, we've opened them up.
We did that in environmental services from, did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
He applied for the job with the intent of being the replacement for Greg, and then when Greg actually retired, we opened it up internally again.
and I think, you know, I think this is a little bit different because this is an elected position. As far as taking applications and stuff. I just feel it's a little different situation. The chief deputy is a vital importance of every sheriff's office in the state. They're the ones that the sheriff has, they're his duty, but the chief deputy has lots and lots of duties that pertain to every aspect of the sheriff's office. And they're the ones who are sitting behind sometimes when the sheriff is out doing his sheriffing stuff. And so, yeah, it's a little bit different of a position. And so that's how I think we should do it. So, and I don't know if we do that right now.
I'm just looking for direction so that we can move forward if it's opening or if it's appointing, then
Right.
John would have to come to the board to make that appointment, and then personnel committee would have to meet.
So basically then today, if we say we're not gonna open it up, then we're gonna appoint her sheriff.
John would have to bring that forward.
Yeah.
At another time, or on the agenda. If it's to open it up, then I would.
Yeah.
Build a posting.
Yeah, cause there's a time element here too now, because the 27th is it, John? Yes. 27th of February is coming. And it would be best as quick as we can for the personnel up there to know what's going on.
What are you looking for, a motion, Mr. Chair?
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to appoint Jen Nightblood as sheriff. When those roles are vacated by a current sheriff on Combs.
Okay. We have a motion to appoint Jen Combs, or Jen Lightmon as sheriff. It's like a work life. I don't usually get that, but I do with it, so. But, it's right, Mark. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? Okay, I'll second that motion then. And, on this, then I wanna do a roll call vote. When you're ready.
Should we just start on one end and work my way across? Is that how it goes?
Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want there.
Bill Valley,
Yes.
Doyle Spear,
No.
Dwight Walwatney,
Yes.
Troy Johnson,
No.
Ken Johnson,
Yes.
I've got 3 yes, 2 no, motion carries.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Thank you, John, for what you've done over the years.
So the next steps, we will meet with the personnel committee and then come back. At a later date.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Don, with the license bureau here,
I'm here today to request that the board make a decision whether or not they are going to keep the license bureau as a county office or contact the state and relinquish the office. I'm trying to get a decision made for the sake of Mary because she is unaware if she's gonna have a position with the county anymore or not, or if she needs to start looking for another position elsewhere. I gave a 9-month notification of retirement and hoping that a decision would have been made 3 months ago. So I'm just looking for closure on whether or not my office will remain a county office, so I can move forward in getting paperwork and stuff done. That's why I'm here.
okay, well, my thoughts on this are that, there's too many unknowns. Looking towards privatization of this. There's just too many unknowns as far as I'm concerned. What we know now is that we have a well-run, working license bureau that people enjoy coming to for the most part. I suppose there's some that probably don't like every aspect of government, but for the most part, everybody that I've talked to, I haven't had anybody tell me they want to go private with that thing. And I've had a lot of them tell me that they want to keep it the way it is. I know, I might be mistaken, but I know that this is in our budget for 26. That we have, you know, for 2 personnel in there. And it's just well run and people like it. I was there yesterday myself and I transferred title on a car that I bought for my wife and Mary helped me out with that because I get nervous on titles. I don't like writing on them because I've screwed them up before. She did all that for me and then of course I had to pay the money, but. And then I went downtown after that and I was eating dinner downtown, so otherwise I probably wouldn't have been down in that restaurant if I hadn't been up there. And there was another guy from Douglas County there that I knew. I was talking to him and I said, what are you doing? Well, I come over to buy my license tab, register a car. So there's a lot of people that come into this county and spend money when they're up there at the courthouse. And it's just important that if it goes private and somebody comes in here and doesn't like it, they could sell it. And then we all seen what the state guy said, you know, if we relinquish that, we gotta just write them a letter telling them we're out of here. And then we have nothing more to do with that at all. That guy, they come in and inspect the site. What if they don't like it? What if they say, no, we're not gonna do that? You can't do that here. So, you know, it's too many problems, too many unknowns for me. I don't like that. And as far as, it's a separate deal here now with the, driver's test. It's not affiliated with Don's office much. It's just the state's running that. What if they quit that? They wanted to do that 25 years ago, 30 years ago when I was a sheriff. They wanted to pull that out of here. Nobody remembers that. I went downtown, got the businessmen and got them up there, and there was like 30 people up in the courthouse there, and we were fighting to keep this driver's testing here. Why should our people have to go to Ferguson, Douglas? And you can't get in there anyway. They're coming from all over the state to Grant County to get in there on their driving now. So it's just, I know there's a little deficit there, but I think that we make that up with what comes back into the county here. That's just my thought. So I'm in favor of keeping that office the way it is.
Mr. Chair, you talked about them giving a variance to us, which you talked about this variance for this testing, right?
That's all up to the state.
Right, okay, so if it goes private, that might go away, and that's what you're referring to, that's why we kept the testing locally here.
And there's no guarantee that the state would even open an office in Grant counties. Because according to the statutes, if there is another office within 30 miles of Grant County, which there's technically 3, they don't have to have one open in Grant County. So there's no guarantee that the state would even open an office in Grant County.
And how many times a month do they come for that?
For testing,
Yes,
at least once a month, sometimes twice, if it's there that 5th Thursday in the month.
busier in the summer than the winters?
It's busy all year.
Okay.
And now they're actually opening up testing to more testing because they're gonna start bringing 2 examiners here instead of 1. So they can do more kids when they are here, so.
Mr. Chair, I got a question for Don.
Yes.
In an email from James Forcell from the DPS, it references your appointment as a county appointment given by the Commissioner of Public Safety. Currently, Don is your appointee. Then later on, it references DPS will begin the mandated process of a competitive bidding process as defined by state statutes. This involves a review of site viability, public posting, an application process, and an interview process. Once the selection is made by DPS, will work with the entity to complete the appointment. The county does not have any role in the competitive bidding process. So my question is, in your experience, does DPS, is the appointment with the individual, or is it with the site and the entity / the county, or both?
As a county office, you guys hired me, which in contact, I had to be approved by the state. So in other words, I had to pass fingerprint background checks. They appointed me to be the director after you were hired. If it goes private, the state has to approve the office building according to the statutes, where it's at, who's in charge of it. It goes out for bids by the state. You guys give up the office, you're out of it. You have no longer anything to say about any of it.
So once again, go back to my question, you referred to an office. Does the office include the person, or does the office include the site? Because there is a difference. If we say we want to keep the office,
That, my office gets approved every time a new director takes charge because of the size. They approve it because it's been there for years. But if it goes private, that they have to approve the office, and they also have to approve the director that's in charge of that office. It's 2 different approvals.
sure.
The office, according to the statute, has its size, waiting area, and all of that has to be approved by the state. And the person that they hire as director has to be approved.
So it
by the
is
state.
2,
It's
so
2
you answered my
different
question.
things, yes.
Thank you.
My question is the guy even interested anymore? I wasn't treated well the last 2 times he came here. I don't know why we think that only government can do this. He wants to put his own money into it and we act like he's just coming in to wreck it so that the service won't be provided here. I mean, if you're gonna invest your own money, are you not gonna try to make it a service that works? I heard, well, it's gonna be terrible customer service. Well, how do we know that? He's putting his own money into it. And you think he's gonna say, oh yeah, customer service is out the window. You can wait however long. I don't get that, why we would think that.
Well, I don't think that at all.
Well, that's the way it came across at the last meeting. There was a room full of people that just assumed he was gonna come and destroy it. I mean, guy wants to bring money and invest in Grant County, and that's the way he's treated.
But how do we know how do we know, Troy, that it's gonna be him? This here says that they're gonna put out that basically application. How do we know it was gonna be this guy? We don't.
So far, he's the only one that's ever come and expressed interest.
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't said that to the state, these people. So we don't know that.
In my opinion, why are we inviting vendors? That's not our role. When we're done, we're done. That's the end of it. That's the state's role. We shouldn't be, this should have come in front of us long before that guy showed up at the meeting. Long before.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So. I agree with Troy, that when you get 32 people that somebody invited to pounce on this vendor was a little embarrassing. But I also listened. And if you wanted to check off all the boxes, we would try to work with the state. Offer in place the offer to operate, which we have, because it was identified if it doesn't continue that we would take it back. So why don't we try to be the facilitator? Offer the service in the courthouse, let private enterprise do their thing. He identified the math isn't very good. And anyone who's been in business or balances their checkbook can kind of see that this thing is pretty tight operationally. But the missing link would be if we had a place for them to operate at a very minimal lease amount. I think that's what we should look at, and we're trying to work with Department of Public Safety and say, here's what we have. I'm not for getting rid of it. I sure don't want the state to take it away from us. But I do think we have an option, and I'm not sure we've looked at it totally.
I'm not sure I follow so it would be a private business leasing space in the courthouse.
Yes.
I would be against that, as I stated when the HRA was in the courthouse, that I think that should just be for county services.
Well, I don't know that we should compare it to HRA, because I don't think the narrative with the HRA had anything to do with whether it was a private business in the courthouse. It had to do with environmental services, needing the office space and exiting this building. Not once did I hear private HRA count. The other thing about it, and although from past decisions, this board doesn't care how much money they spend, but if you do realize, if we could do this, it's like a $60,000 savings. That's real money. And it would keep the office. I don't know if DPS would do it. But there are counties that do have private businesses, and it's not necessarily really that exotic of a concept. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you think, Don?
I don't know if my opinion matters right now.
Yeah.
You guys have had 3 months now to talk about this and discuss this. You guys look at my office as an expense. I'm not here to make the county rich. I am here as a service to the community. So this is your guys' decision. This isn't my decision. I just would like a decision today for the sake of Mary and for the sake of my customers. If you guys don't want this as a county office, tell me today, I'll put in the rest of my time and I'll walk out. But Mary needs to have a decision whether she should be looking for another job right now, or if she's gonna have a job at Grant County. This decision is up to you five. It's not up to me.
Yes, and a decision has to be made here.
I worked hard for this company or for this office and for Grant County. But the decision is up to the five of you. My standing is, yes, you would be naive to get rid of that office, because it brings a lot of people. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So is, Mary, could she take over, like? After you retire, could she take over? Do you have to, would somebody else have to be hired to take your position, or, I mean, would she be able to take your position, or?
She could, if she chooses to. I'm not gonna force her to take over my position.
Oh,
I'm sure she would have to apply like everybody else does to take over that position. Unless you guys want to appoint her for that position without the application process, but we just had the discussion with Jen that that's not part of policy,
But I was just wondering in the
but
case
she's ready to take over for me.
of training and stuff, she's
She's got all the training she needs to take my position.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to hire for her position.
Okay, well, we gotta move on here, so we gotta, we gotta make a decision here. And like I said, there's too many unknowns here. I know of one county in particular that went private and they got it back now. So,
So, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
excuse me for. Do you think it would be okay, whether it's strategic planning or personnel or some committee or buddy or chair, have a discussion with Jim Fursell from the Department of Public Service to see if the option isn't just operate it like it is or get rid of it? That maybe there is a hybrid. And maybe there is a benefit where the boxes do get checked off that we can be comfortable with. It appears that he's holding all the aces. And so we're making a decision today, from what I feel, without him rendering an opinion. I'm not so sure we should make that decision today.
He's not holding cards, it's state statute. What he said in that letter is state statutes for my office.
as we sit here right now, we have a known. We know that we can operate up there and we know that it's a good place and we know that people like coming there. And we have two employees who, have good jobs and, they're contributing too to the local economy. But, I'm with Troy. I'm not in favor of anybody coming into the courthouse there to lease anything. I don't wanna do that. And I just don't think that, there's just too many unknown. And, if we're gonna delay this, I certainly don't think we could call for a vote to privatize right now, because you don't know, you're gonna lose this program. You're gonna
The
lose.
process takes about 60 days.
Yeah,
You have to provide the state with the notice of intent that you're going to consider a resolution to close it. And you have to provide that to Dawn and to any other department that we license for. And then, that has to be at least 20 days notice. You guys meet twice a month. So then, that resolution would be a topic at a meeting that is at least 20 days after that notice is served. If you adopt that resolution, it's not effective until 30 days have passed. So it's at a minimum a 60-day process. So we're 2 months down the road. That's just the process.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
want to comment on what Don said. So if I'm reading what Jim's saying, if the state approves the site, which is currently approved, and we offer an alternative to the appointee, which they say they have to appoint, and if the projected appointee was someone that was already approved in Morris, is there anything wrong with asking that? Or are we totally against private enterprise operating the license bureau in the county at a savings for us? Is that the issue? Or is it that we don't wanna ask if it's possible?
Well, for me personally, I wanna keep it the way it is, so that answers that question, for me. So,
Mr. Chair, I got a little statement I'd like to make there. You know, if we were struggling with staffing and hours of operation and things like that, but this place has been, you know, absolutely seamless for years, generations, not just you. And, you know, people willing to step in those roles and be compliant with the state to make sure that the people are served here. Why would we want to entertain any kind of change, let alone let private industry or private entities operate on county property? That's trouble right there, in my opinion, because, you know, are they gonna close? If we close county offices, are they gonna close too because the courthouse is gonna get closed? There's too many unforeseens there. So, you know, the will of the people is, you know, if you guys want, and you really are passionate about this, you know, we got an election coming up. You could certainly make a ballot question, but in my opinion, for right now, we should move forward with replacing Dawn at some point. So then she can mirror whoever can mirror that, those two people in that office to make sure that everything is compliant. And so those questions are answered for the people. There's a lot of change going on, and you guys educate the public every time they walk in there. You know that, and I don't know if the private sector would give it'd take too much time, you know, to get decent staff, you know, and rearrange furniture here a little bit. It's too much time. And Justin is talking about statute that, you know, we're knocking on the door right now. I mean, you blink and it's 30 days is gone. So timing is of the essence. So, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to put forward an appointment process and a hiring process for the Grant County License Bureau.
okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? Do we have a second? Okay, I'll second that motion. We'll do a roll call vote, Dina.
Okay, and just so
Oh, discussion, I'm sorry.
So. You don't wanna look at my suggestion, which I understand. I heard Don that potentially we could lose it. And the other option is to stay the same. I really feel like encumbered leadership. That we aren't willing to broaden our vision for the future of this county. But if we vote against it and we lose it altogether, it's a bad day. I don't like the motion, I don't like the second, but I don't like our options. The only one option I like is my option. That feels greedy, doesn't it? But I think it's a better option, but that's not what's on the floor, but I just had to say it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right,
I feel like we're sitting here afraid to lose what we have and not looking at what we could have. You know, there's the possibility that private entity would come in and open up, they'd bring in Identigo, where now our school staff and our nursing home staff or daycares don't have to go to another county to get fingerprinted. It could be done right here. We could have expanded services. Because we're afraid of losing what we have, we're not willing to look at what it could be.
I got another question.
yes,
I agree with Troy. A little bit like the chicken and egg. When does James Forsell render his decision? Do you think? I mean, if we don't approve this, could we be out?
Yes. You could be. It's not his decision, it's the Commissioner of Public Safety's decision, and there's no guarantee that anybody is gonna open an office here. Once you give notification, they'll come in and take all of their equipment and inventory out of the office and it's gone.
Right along with the variance for the testing.
Right along with the variance for the office, the testing, and every other variance I have for that office. And there's no guarantee the gentleman from Morris will get it, even if he is interested.
Well, I got another question. Justin, you related some time, some days and some timing and. Once again, I know we have a motion on the floor. But if you listen to Troy and if you listen to me, does it make sense to make the decision without having some engagement with DPS and the state?
Your only decision is whether you want a license bureau or you don't.
That's correct.
That's it.
And that's what the email states.
But what, Justin, what if we wanted in the courthouse with a management or a contract agreement with an operator that the state might approve? That's,
It's a, you know, if it were offered to all people who are interested as part of their process, that would be something, but just based on the discussion, although there hasn't been a vote, it doesn't look like that's going to carry the day either.
Okay, any other question? Or any other discussion? Okay, I'll call for the roll call vote.
Can I just clarify the motion, please?
Yes.
The motion was made by Bill Valley, seconded by Dwight Walbotney, and carried to move forward with the appointment and hiring process.
The appointment for the supervisor and training process for the staff.
Bill Valley,
Aye.
Doyle Spear,
Aye.
Dwight Walbotney,
Aye.
Troy Johnson,
No.
Ken Johnson.
aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
4-1, it carries.
Okay. Thank you, Don. All right,
You,
we're gonna,
Can I get some clarification on the appointment and then the hiring? So we have to hire first the director position. So was it an appointment or are we going out for advertisement and hiring? For that position, and if the current employee takes that, then we hire.
The appointment for Mary to move up into
I'm glad.
her role.
So we just appointed Mary, we didn't.
I want clear.
That's the succession. That's, we were talking succession here.
That is,
Oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
I just want clarification on that.
what I would like to do is I would like to hire or
Speak up or it's going through.
We never voted on Mary. We voted on whether we were gonna have the office or not.
Well, you already have an employee in the office.
It's not in our case. I repeatedly heard that it's up to the state. And Justin told us there's only two decisions. You want it or you don't. We just voted that we wanted it.
Yeah.
Or did I fall asleep?
So then I would, I guess, ask for clarification then on how you want me to proceed with the hiring process.
I'll reread the motion. A motion was made by Bill Valley and seconded by Dwight Walbotney and carried to move forward with appointment for the supervisor in the hiring process.
What more do you need there?
I just want clarification on the appointment because like we've said before, department heads, we've opened it up. For advertisement, so if you want to appoint, that's totally up to you guys, I just want that clarification. And we don't know if she's interested, but I want clarification, cause
I know we have to let the state know that we're gonna continue, right?
No,
No, if you're gonna continue to keep it as a county office, you don't have to notify the state at all.
Okay.
The only thing that'll happen is whoever gets Dawn's job will be our designee.
Then you guys, whoever is hired for my position, I need a letter stating who was approved by you guys to be the director, and then I have to do all the paperwork with the state to have them appoint and approve her for my
and
position.
that takes an appointment process.
Yes. Right now.
so does that mean advertising?
Yes,
So what I think Dawn will do, she's gonna start training Mary to take your stuff.
If Mary wants it,
if
I
she
would like
wants
to
it.
advertise out right away instead of just internally,
Right,
you know, for my position, because if Mary is not interested in taking my position, I don't have other applicants. Cause it's totally up to her if she's gonna take it or not. She might wanna stay where she's at. I don't know.
There's latitude in the motion for that process.
And then.
I just want clarification on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will start that process.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
okay, moving on. Jamie? You have some stuff for us, do
Good
you?
morning, yeah, so I just have my annual, Grand County investment policy that needs to be approved. And then also the county resolution establishing bank accounts and depositories. That need to be
Are we
approved.
gonna do them one at a time then? We do one at a time?
Actually, it's one document, right? You sent me one document that's full.
No, there's two, so the Grand County investment policy is its own,
Okay.
and then the county resolution establishing bank accounts and
Okay, so they're-
depositories are two.
My
And these
mistake.
are done annually.
Yeah, they're broken out here, right? Investment policy and company.
So do we have a motion to approve these? Anybody wanna make a motion?
I'll make that motion for the investment policy, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a motion for the investment property. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, I got some discussion.
Okay, go ahead. We have a motion and a second. Go ahead. Discuss.
So it lists in the investment policy is that our audit will be done by the state auditor. Have we ever had it where it's not? The state auditor that does our audit?
Yeah, they audit our investments.
Right, but I'm asking if
investment
we've ever
policy.
had it other than the state do it.
No, not that I am aware of. Now I've only.
Cause
It's a big
for our policy, we wouldn't be able to do that, but if we approve it every
Like
year.
a third party audit? Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, just if we ever were gonna do that, we'd have to adjust.
Correct, this policy, correct.
So like a Clifton Allen Larson, Commissioner Johnson, you're talking,
Well, anybody.
Yeah.
Any auditing.
okay,
Okay, do we have any further discussion? And if not, I'll call for the motion. All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then the second one is the Grant County, resolution establishing bank accounts and depositories. And I think you guys got a list of those, correct?
Yep. Okay, do we have a motion?
So move.
Okay, we have a motion by Doyle to approve this. Do we have a second?
second,
Okay, we have a second by Bill Valley. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then the next thing I have is, a revised credit card policy as a recommendation from our state auditors. They wanted us to include the language, to include detailed receipts from employees. They had said they had got, when they were doing some auditing, some receipts that weren't detailed, and, they feel that they need to be very detailed as into, what the credit card's being used for. So I have 3 revisions on here. Some of it's just, kind of cleaning it up, and I had written the revisions. on there, and so it's just to get approval for the seventh revision of the credit card policy.
The auditor was okay with the. Alright,
I didn't run it through them, it was just, they had just mentioned the detailed language in there.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a motion by Troy Johnson? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Doyle Spear. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
Thank
And
you,
then I
Amy.
do need these signed by the board chair. I have hard copies.
You're gonna have new signature things, I can stop and sign for the credit card policy.
What's that?
The credit card policy.
Yeah, so every employee that has a credit card, I am sending out, a new form stating that with the new policy, that they need to sign and return back to me, that they have received it and read it.
You just print one out of, yep.
Was that,
You
yes,
just print one out
Yep.
of after the meeting.
yep, I sure,
Yeah, I do that, good.
sure.
Sure. Good. It states under the limit $1,000. Is that consistent with what we do?
That is correct, yep, so every, and unless brought forward, a different amount. It's typically always been $1,000.
I'm just wondering if we have a policy that states is set the charge limit at. And all of a sudden we have, let's say, a leadership or a supervisor that needs 2,500.
Yeah, so that also addresses in the policy that they, if the purchase needs to be done, in between board meetings, then they are to email the board chair. The board chair, either approves it or denies it, and then, will contact me and allowing that, and if they want a permanent increase, then they need to come to the full board and ask for the permanent increase.
Cause we have some that are over.
We do, we have quite a few actually.
I'm just wondering if we're updating the policy and the policy says $1,000, that's different than what I'm hearing we.
It's only a specific few, it's, that.
But I believe it says in there that yes, they can come to the full board and get a larger, it's up to the board to.
Correct, and even at the time of approval, they can ask for over $1,000 limit.
Wondering if it's consistent with what we do.
You need me to sign something, Jane?
Yep, actually, Jamie, if you could leave them with me, we'll sign everything at the end and then I will get it to you when I get back. Cause I need a copy as well.
Sure, yep,
Thanks for your work, Jane.
yep, thank you.
Hey, Carl? You got any good news for us today?
I'm not gonna. I'm looking to make one decision, so.
We're out of it.
Sorry.
Scans?
We did, we brought Trent out to Seattle, so he got his duty station, so we drove him out there last week.
Yep, and all those that we book.
Got an apartment and. So he's, yesterday was his first official day at his new duty stations.
Okay.
So we, on the way out, he skied in Whitefish and then we skied out in Washington for one day and it was good. But it's early season conditions, so they're rocky,
Not so good.
we might have had a couple of high schools. Isaac has been in the top 10 on both races so far, so he's pretty pumped about that. You want to wait for Bill or?
We can get going.
Okay. So the first thing I kind of wanted to go over some changes or some updates for the 2026 assessment, just kind of give you an overview of kind of where we're looking at with the assessment. So on the egg side, we had 23 egg sales. And right now it looks like we're gonna see an 8% reduction in our tillable land. CRP is gonna remain flat. And our woods pasture waste, they'll all be seeing $100 increase in value. Residentially, for the cities, Ashby had 7 sales and it looks like we're gonna, keep values pretty flat there. It doesn't mean that every property is gonna be flat because we have minor changes in the schedule, so. Some might go up a little bit, some might go down a little bit, but overall it's gonna remain relatively flat. Barrett had 2 sales, we're gonna leave the values flat there as well. Double Lake had 20 sales. And it looks like we're gonna go down about 1 or 2% in Double Lake City. Herman, they had 4 sales. We relooked at the lot values in Herman and they were really kind of all over the place. So we relooked at that, we recalculated kind of what's the best method of valuing those lots. And I ended to set a big, city council meeting to discuss with them those changes that we made. And then on the buildings, it looks like we're gonna see about a 16% reduction for the lower end of the parcels. The upper end, we'll see about a 5% reduction. Hoffman City had 14 sales, and it looks like we're gonna keep the values flat there. Norcross didn't have any sales. Again, we're gonna kind of keep what's going in the area, and we're gonna leave them flat. Wendell had 2 sales, and we're gonna see about a 5% reduction there. For Lakeshore properties, it looks like Pelican Lake had 9 sales, and it looks like we're gonna have about an 8% increase there. All the other lakes, looks like we're gonna be relatively flat. And the rural residential properties, it looks like we need about a 3% increase on those other properties as well. Commercial, we had 3 sales, and it looks like we're gonna do about a 3% increase in value. So that's just kind of like a 500-foot view of what we're gonna be doing with the assessment. Again, there's gonna be micro areas where, you know, we have sales indicating one specific property type might need a little bit of an increase, or one might need a little bit more of a decrease. But overall, that's kind of what we're.
That commercial was an increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase.
Yep. So. Any questions about that?
Yes. So, in this process that you commenced doing Herman, did I read it right that potentially your office is gonna view that process in all the cities?
Yes.
And how does that, what's your, talk about that?
So what is that process gonna look like? So how the lots were being valued in the past, where everything was just straight front foot value. Well, there's a lot of lots that might have 100 feet of front feet, but they might only be 50 feet deep. And then the next lot might have 75 feet of front footage, but they have 500 feet of depth. And what we found is that through looking at the sales, that's not how they're necessarily buying these. They're buying them kind of by the size. And so what we did is we're gonna have 15 different classes of land, basically, and it's gonna be segmented by size. And so then what we did is we kind of said, well, here's what the minimum lot sale would be for, you know, like a 0.3 acre lot. There's kind of a bottom number, so that's where we start. And then we'll increase the value out to about 5 acres, and then once it hits the 5 acres, then we'll use a little bit different style for valuing those larger parcels. But it's a more consistent methodology for valuing the size of a parcel versus just based on front foot. Because otherwise you might have somebody who has 2 acres and they're valued the same as somebody who's got a 100 by 150 foot lot. So we want to make sure that we're valued according to what you have, not necessarily. The front foot value is a great way to value things if you have a whole bunch of that one style.
Sure. Right.
And they're all similar.
Right.
But when they're not similar, it just doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
The other thing that I brought with was all the assessment changes that have occurred from the County Board of Appeal through the end of December. So that was 122 pages. And this is to show you the homesteads that have changed. People can either apply for homestead, not apply. It's all the special A gaps. It's all the state changes or like utility lines. Those are all things that are acceptable by the state to change. So this is just a listing to show you all of the changes that have occurred since then.
Carl, does there need to be a motion to approve those changes?
And then the last thing that I had was to set the county board of appeal. And I was looking at setting that for June 15th at 4:30 PM, and that'll be here. So the only thing that, as soon as we can have it is the first Monday after the second Friday of the month, so that would be the earliest date that we can have it,
Would you say 4 o'clock again?
4:30.
4:30.
So do we need a motion to set that?
You can just call a meeting, just have Tina put it down as a meeting.
Okay, good.
4:30. 4:30. On the 15th.
Okay, so no motion for setting the dates, okay?
Anything else, Carl?
That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Okay, Tina?
Okay.
Board meeting dates, time and location, huh?
Mhm.
And do these now have to be,
When I looked back in previous minutes from other years, these are all things that had their individual husbands
okay,
identified in the minutes, except obviously the work session is new this year.
right,
So board meeting dates, times, and locations, historically, they've been every first and third Tuesday at 9 AM. And they've been being held in this room here. Is that what you want to do moving forward?
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Bill LaValle and a second by Doyle Spear to have our commissioner meetings the first and third Tuesday at the government office building in Elbow Lake at 9 o'clock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I added in the packet the board agenda item of work sessions. Just looking for direction from the board, if you want to standardize them, do them as needed. I mean, I know in some counties, they just, at this first meeting, set them, and then if they don't have something for the work session, they just don't have it. But it's always set at the same time, same locations, similar to the official board meeting. And again, work sessions are only for discussion. No action can happen at a work session. It's just an opportunity for the full board to discuss the topic.
My view on it is we should have them, irregardless if we have a specific topic or not. We should have at 8:30, we should have a work session listed. If we have a specific topic, okay, list the topic too, but we would still say at 8:30 is the work session. Cause then it's
there.
an opportunity to come in and have a less structured conversation about stuff where we're still following open meeting law. Anybody can show up. They all know we're gonna be here at this time. And if we do have a topic, great, list it. We'll talk about that specific thing. But if not, then you can have an open discussion. Okay. That's just my thoughts on it.
And then Troy, would that be just the first Tuesday of every month?
I would say do it every, yeah.
meeting?
Every meeting?
Okay, that's your motion then, Troy?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
So we're gonna start every meeting at 8:30.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
There'll be no action or anything before 9.
Did you got that, Tina? What do you?
Okay, I'm just gonna reiterate it just to make sure I have it clear in my head. Again, work session is just discussion only, no official business. And it will be, the board would like to have a work session scheduled at 8:30 AM, the first and the third Tuesdays of every month here at the same location. And then as agenda items or topic items come up for them, that will go out with the packet, it'll be listed on the agenda, what it is.
If somebody, whether it's on this board or from the public wants to have something there, they follow the same process, they fill out the form. It's just, we can't take any action.
So, question. So, and I like the idea, it's open, but if something is identified. It's identified, but is it still open?
Yeah,
Is it both?
Right, I think I know what you're saying is, there is a discussion topic, like we had the new rifle legislation for hunting. We had the work session to talk just about that. It wouldn't be open for other topics. If a topic is identified, that's what will be discussed for that half an hour. And then if there's no topic identified, then it's just discussion opportunity.
I wouldn't agree with that. I
Well, I
think
would say that
it should always be open.
if we have identified it there, we wanna talk about the rifle ordinance. That's gonna be the very first thing. And if 10 minutes into it, there's really no more discussion or conversation, then you move to whatever.
Yeah, so it can do serve both.
It's not gonna be limited to just that listed topic, that's just gonna be addressed first.
I agree with that.
That's what I was getting at.
And then, I mean, that tells the public, hey, they're gonna be here, they're gonna be talking about this specific issue. So if they wanna weigh in, that's,
And then if something is talked about that's not listed, that's okay too.
I would. Right, I would think so, it's just informing, I mean, it's,
More transparency.
we're gonna be here doing it, so.
Okay, we have a motion by Troy. Do we have a second?
Say,
Okay, we got a second by Bill LaValle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next is, naming the official county newspaper and also, and again, in past minutes, when I reviewed them, these were two separate motions. One is naming the official newspaper and the other one is, accepting a printing and publishing bid. We got one printing and publishing bid from the Grant County Herald. We didn't get any others.
So do we have a motion to accept, would this be the, kind of the official newspaper?
it's the only
Yeah,
newspaper.
so.
And we can make it one motion. I just, yep, if the board chooses, I just, and looking back, it was done both ways, either two separate or one together, but it's two items. It's naming the official newspaper and it's accepting the printing and publishing bid.
Okay, do we have a motion to that effect?
I will make that motion and I want the motion to reflect the cost associated with it, you know, so in the motion, I want the amounts listed.
So approve the Grant County Herald as the official county newspaper and accept the bid of $10.50 per inch rate for 2026.
Per column inch rate, just say column two.
It did not in the bid
Okay.
per inch rate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Bill LaValle. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next on the list is AMC voting delegates. And this is what has been done in the past. Is Ken Johnson, Environmental and Natural Resources, Dwight Walbotney, Public Safety, Troy Johnson, Health and Human Services, Doyle Spear, Transportation, Bill LaValle, General Government, Western Prairie Administrator, Director Stacy Hennon, Highway Engineer Matt Navarro, and County Coordinator.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair, for the status quo. We'll let Tina just rattle it off there.
Okay, we have a motion by Bill LaValle. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Doyle Spear. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
A motion is needed to approve the payment of the 2026 dues of AMC, and as Troy pointed out, some of them are already approved in the warrants. But AMC annual due is $10,682. MRCC is $2,200. NACO, National Association is $450. The MACO, I'm not sure what that acronym is at this time, it's eluding my memory, but it's 900. And MACA is Association of County Administrators and Coordinators at $771.
$771.
Okay, do we have a motion? Pay these dues, or for the dues?
I got a question, Mr. Chair, here, before I know you're calling for a motion, but I'd just like to ask, which is MACO again? Minnesota Association of County,
I have to Google it because I can't remember.
NACO is,
NACO's a national.
yes, that's something that's fairly critical. That along MRCC, like you're on Troy and AMC.
Minnesota Association of County Officers.
So that's assessors and recorders and things like that. Any changes coming down the pipe, you know, a lot of times it's good to get a person.
It's auditor, treasurer, and recorder.
Okay. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chair, pay the dues, AMC, MRCC, NACO, MACO, and MACA.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
That was Troy. Okay, second by Troy Johnson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next is the 2026 Grant County fee schedule. Historically, I believe departments would come with individual fee schedules, and department heads are willing to share their fee schedules with me, and we've created just a Grant County fee schedule that lists all the fees, and we're presenting that to the board for approval.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Troy Johnson to approve the fee schedule. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Doyle Spear. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, is looking for approval for the 2026 Grant County Committee assignments. That was included in the packet. There's two in particular that, need to be adjusted, is the Viking Library. Doyle Spear, his term expired. And I included in the packet the information about when they meet. And the other one, the Boise Sioux Watershed Board reached out and said, John Capon's term expires this year. And so he's willing to keep that appointment, the board so chooses.
Let's do the Boise Sioux first here. Do we have a motion to keep John Capon?
Well, are we gonna not follow? I know for a fact, we gotta follow our policy on that one.
Okay.
I mean, he's not done yet. I think, what did it say, June or something?
Okay,
So, no, that has to be advertised for and that.
okay.
We did that the last time with him.
I'm pretty sure we took our policy of how we appoint
Yep.
based off of the law for Boise to Sioux. So it has to be,
He did that the last time.
so we need to follow our.
Yeah, okay.
So the point being would be to approve as presented, understanding that those ones, that one will be coming, and then the Viking Library one, that, Doyle, your term expired
Yeah.
end of 2025, correct? So
Okay,
that one does need to
Well,
be filled.
we'll do that one now that, Doyle talked to me about that. I'd be willing to take that, if the board chooses that, so I don't know, do we need?
I'll make a motion with To approve the committees with Dwight Watney on the Viking Library.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Everybody?
Maybe it's a point of clarification, under the building committee, we list facility maintenance since Maya and help me out.
Olson, Mr. Olson.
Yeah, Mr. Olson, Kyle.
Yeah.
Is it assuming either or both, or doesn't it matter?
Well, I guess I would like to see both of them, you know, I think that's a pretty good fit there. Okay. Did we get a second? I
think Bill seconded it because
Yeah.
neither one of us were being assigned new committees.
Right.
Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion now? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, Chairman.
And then next is the Morris Electronics 2026 IT contract.
What would I put there?
So we seen the Morris Electronics contract in the email.
It was brought to an earlier board meeting just for review, talked about it at that time, but we want to start out the new year with a signed contract with them, so.
Okay, we're looking for a motion.
Well, before, this is the county paying 105, but they're being reimbursed by Western Prairie for 40 something.
That would be it. Chad, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here. What?
The Morris Electronic contract is for 105,000, but Western Prairie reimburses for 42,000.
I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it's
But they do an amount.
correct.
Okay. Thank you. I will make a motion to approve the Morris Electronics contract.
Okay, we got a motion by Troy Johnson. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second by Kenny Johnson.
Let's put that amount in there, the 105.
674.40.
Carried and approved the 2026 Morris Electronics contract for $105,674.40.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next is just information. It's the letter from the State Historic Preservation Office. There's 2 county properties that are nominated. One being the Emmanuel Lutheran Church Barrett and the Barrett Lakeside Pavilion.
Okay, do we have a motion?
No motion needed.
Oh, that's not-
No, it's just an informational.
Yeah, that was good though, those two spots there.
Yeah. Now they're gonna tell you how to mow the grass.
And then we're on to board committee updates.
Okay. Well, Budget and Finance Committee, do we have any update?
Not yet, I don't think.
No,
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Building Committee,
We just had a building in grounds and so
okay.
we're good.
EMS Committee,
Well, as you know, I sent, emailed out to you guys and reaching out to Senator Rasmussen's office on clarity on the statute from the reviser. And I had Maya send it to Tina and Tina reached out and of course now, have we got any more back from those guys on that? Okay. That's all I know on that aspect.
okay.
So we'll be waiting in the winds here to find out just what's gonna happen. I can reach out again before the next meeting. And I can do that.
I have a sprint paramedic meeting on Thursday, before Rainbow Rider bill. So we'll hear how that program's going in Otter Tail. It's going well in Grant County. Real well, the sprint paramedic, it's been it has been a lifesaver in a couple instances, so. Okay, so personnel committee,
Well, as we know, we got all the contracts done. We're meeting later this week to address the treasurer, the vacancy in the treasurer's office, have further discussion on that.
okay, highway committee, Billy,
We haven't actually met,
no,
so. Nope, nothing.
public safety committee,
We've got the majority of the new contracts back. We don't have them all yet. I know we got a meeting on next Monday, so hopefully we'll be back. We'll be here in 2 weeks with those for this board's approval, hopefully.
Okay.
No guarantees, so.
Troy, were they in 3-year contracts?
So these new contracts are perpetual.
Okay,
So how it is we will base the contract for 27 off of total cost minus the building from 25. So before April 1st, the county will have to figure out what that total cost was, figure out our percentages, get that to the cities. And then if they don't object to that, if the contract just, we don't have to go back every 3 years and. So it's a little different, but
sounds like a plan, though. Okay, solid waste committee,
What did we talk about?
it's really fine tuning where, there's still some questions up there about 27 is a transition year. So this year, everybody is volume based. 27 will be a transition year where everyone is paying based off of the same volume. So the fees will be equalized. Before in 28, it would be turned over, the billing would be turned over to the vendor. So there's a lot of discussion about that transition still and that.
Seems the REIT's got a good handle on it, I think.
okay, strategic planning committee,
The board agreed to open up some seats on the strategic planning committee, for public members. And we've had 2 people apply. So here are the applications that were received. For those public seats.
Thank you.
One is from Mandy Westrom and the other is from Jared Olson.
There's 2 spots available, correct?
The board approved 3.
No.
There were a few other inquiries about it, but no, I did an application other than the 2 that you just received.
Be doing these today or just FYI?
That is up to the board.
Are you gonna make sure that there's ample opportunity for more applications or did you shut off the diagram on that? Is there a sunset on
We,
the application process?
we posted it for 2 weeks. And so it's not currently being advertised. you know, there was a deadline to submit application.
But you gotta have a deadline. Right,
There was a deadline?
Yep, to submit application. Mhm. So these are the two that were submitted.
I'd make a motion, Mr. Chair, to accept the two applicants.
So can I ask you a question about that? Maybe you don't wanna put it. We talked about doing like a 1, 2, and 3,
I'm sure.
so that every year there's one spot that comes up. I don't know if you want to assign, maybe you don't, I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about that. I agree with you. So they're 3-year terms, but they alternate then.
Correct, so this initial one, we would appoint, if we got 2 applicants, we could appoint a 3 and a 2, or however you wanna do it, but, right, so that then there's not all 3 at the same time.
Let's say Mr. Chair, we should put a coin. And whoever wins, the chair can call it and.
But,
so instead of 2 and 3 and 3, you know, we always go through this appointment per year. Why would we not open it up every year?
well,
Or,
there would be one open every year.
but have it all of them open every year?
Oh, no. That's administratively, they don't even get,
As you know, it takes a while to get up to speed on things, and if you're gonna have somebody there, it's better to have more than just.
we don't reach that often, so that, I think it's gotta be longer than that.
I flip a coin, but I don't have a coin.
I'd make a motion that we, approve, Mandy Western for the 3-year term and Jared Olson for the 2-year term. And we have that process. The 3-2-1 process.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. For what Tina's writing down there.
A motion was made by Ken Johnson, seconded by Troy Johnson, and carried to approve the 2 public member applications for the Strategic Planning Committee as Mandy Westrom, a 3-year appointment, Jared Olson, 2-year appointment, and continue following the 3-2-1 process and reappointments.
Any further discussion?
Well. So after this initial appointment, we wouldn't follow the 3-2-1, we just have a 3-year term, or. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
every year there would be one.
That's what you mean, you have to clarify what you.
Every year, so the appointment of the 3-2-1 is this year, so
Okay,
now at the end of this year, the 1 is open, so that would be open, even if there's no one there, we would advertise for it. The next year would be Jared's would be open and we'd advertise for that one, the following year would be Mandy, so it's just 1.
Yeah, and then after initial, they're 3-year terms.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-2-1 this time, and then it's 3-year terms after that.
Okay,
Any further for that motion?
any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Okay, is there anything else?
Alright, vote to go.
Yeah, you're not done yet.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
Alright, vote to go.
Yeah, you got anything from Greg?
Let's skip that.
Yeah, and
Right.
resigning.
Oh, you're kidding. Uh-oh.
Who did? And
And
she,
Shine?
and
Shine?
she,
She's retiring.
she called us all yesterday. That must have taken her a long time because it took me about 20 minutes there, but I found in the Orange Doyle too, probably, but. No, she's, a new grandmother and, her husband's been retired for 7 years. He was, I think he was the chief deputy at Candy High County. And she just said that, we can do it. And so I got a new grandbaby and we're retired. And,
I think 2nd of July, I think she's done.
yeah. And I will say that she, you know, somebody's got some big shoes to fill there, cause she's good at her job. And she started 7 years ago. So it'll be 7.5 years of service, cause that's the first board that I was on. Was that 7 years ago, so, yeah, okay. So, anyway, the Western Prairie.
Well, we have Traverse County's in the fold. Otherwise, I don't know of any.
No. Then we're meeting on Friday.
Yep.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else? Tina, do you have anything else? Okay, that's, we'll return the meeting at 10:40 AM. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.